Hello, Grace Point. It's Pastor Kamal again with another missions update where we talk about what it means for us to continue to be on God's mission even during this unusual time of isolation during the COVID crisis. Now, what I want to talk about today is how we can use the virtualization of our lives in order to seek to talk about Jesus and connect with people or continue to connect with people even under conditions of isolation and virtualization. Now, as you remember, what I mean by virtualization is just how all of our life has become online. So all the relationships and activities that we used to do face to face are now online. So we work and we study and we shop online. How can we use that to somehow project the gospel and tell people about Jesus and what it means for us to follow Jesus and invite them to follow Jesus even during this time of isolation? Well, there's two ways that I can think of, and let me just explain them to you, and then you just take these ideas and run with them in a way that you think is normal and natural and that fits best your personality and your relationships, okay? So the first thing we can do is take the opportunity to broadcast the gospel. What I mean by that is we can use social media like Facebook and Instagram to talk about Jesus more openly. People are talking about everything more openly online. And as many of you have just talked with me during community groups and social chats, people seem to be more accepting about religious people talking about religion during this time of crisis. And so take the opportunity to just write a Facebook post about what it means for you to follow Jesus and how your faith in Jesus helps you to somehow navigate this crisis, how he helps you to feel better and care for people, to feel safe and secure when everything around you is falling to pieces and it feels like there's this unseen and unknown enemy that is literally floating in the air. So one example, I put an example on the Grace Point Facebooks that comes from my ministry colleague, Andre Wheely. And you'll have a look at the Grace Point Facebook pages. You'll see Andre put a very short post where he reflected on how we can comfort people if they happen to have lost a loved one or they know someone who died because of this crisis. And Andre, quite provocatively, in a nice, actually pastoral but provocative way, he said, well, we could just say to people, death happens, it's just evolution, maybe the virus is more evolved than us, get over it. Or we can talk about Jesus, who came to give us life not just in this world, but life eternal. And we can talk about how Jesus hates death. He saw death as the great enemy, and he wept in the face of death. Lazarus, John chapter 11, and that sort of thing. So there's one way that we can use the virtualization of life in order to seek to broadcast the gospel. If you're game, that takes a bit of work, doesn't it? And it takes a bit of courage to make a public stand for Jesus that way. The other way that we can use the virtualization of life is to narrowcast the gospel. I think that's a word. Look it up. I don't think I've just made it up. What I mean by narrowcasting is that as we interact with non-Christian people online, just in our normal interactions with them, work colleagues, school friends, social friends, take the opportunity to, in a way that is natural and normal and fits your relationship with the person, just interject. Hey, you know that I'm a Christian. You know that I follow Jesus. Can I mind if I chat with you about how Jesus helps me navigate this crisis? Take an opportunity of asking people, how are you guys going? How are you feeling about all this isolation business? How's your family? How are your children? How are your brothers and sisters and so on? And then as you chat, just look for natural opportunities to say, look, I'm a Christian. This is how Jesus helps me navigate this crisis at the moment. Now, in order to do that, you need to have non-Christian friends. And so, can I challenge you, Grace Point? How are you going in having and maintaining your relationships with non-Christian workmates, non-Christian social connections, maybe friends from school, maybe friends from those sporting and social clubs that you can't go to anymore because they're closed down. Do what you can to reconnect with them. Maybe deliberately reach out, and like I talked about in a previous update and a previous mission spot on Sunday church, reach out and just reconnect and say, hi, I want to see how you guys are going. So there you go, Grace Point. There's some ideas for using the virtualization of life to still project the gospel, still communicate the message of our Lord Jesus to people. Broadcast, if you're game, if you feel up to it, broadcast the gospel by making a public stand on social media, or narrowcast the gospel to your friends and family as you're able to, and do both of these, do either of these in a way that fits you in your particular situation, in your particular personality, and so that it's normal and natural and not forced. God bless Grace Point. Well done. Keep seeking to do everything you can to make Jesus known, even or especially under these unusual times of crisis and isolation.